I'm Zach.
And I'm Michelle.
And this is a Couple Games YouTube channel. In this video, we are giving our impressions on Everstone, discovering Ignis.
Yeah, so we are excited to talk about our impressions, a little general overview, and then what we like about this new game that will be coming out very soon.
Yeah. So in Everstone, you are merchants coming to this land, and you are bartering, you are exploring the land, talking to villagers, you are discovering relics and putting them in your wagon and trying to repair them. And in this game, you're doing all these things to get to 10 reputation. Once a player hits 10 reputation, then the end game's triggered, and then whoever has the most points at the end of the round wins.
Yeah. So also kind of like adding to that, each player has their own board in this game that you use to decide which actions you're going to take, whether you're going to barter or explore or repair a relic or harvest. So you're moving your worker along your own little board there to indicate what you're going to do on the bigger board together.
Yeah.
So I think that's another cool component of the game. My overall first impressions were that it is a complex game, but it's quick to learn, especially if you have played other games like Scythe or Dune Imperium. Those were some other games that we really kind of were able to learn quickly because we had played those. Not to say that if you haven't played those that you wouldn't be able to pick up on this quickly, because I still think you would. It definitely still has a lot of strategy, a lot of complexity, a lot of layers. The whole how you move in the game was what we were kind of talking about. The 4 main actions that you take, they can trigger other actions down vertically too. So if you build up your board with other relics, which is what we were talking about, are those cards, they can help make your actions more powerful as the game goes on.
Yeah. And like you said, it's complex, but it breaks it down with, on your turn, you're only doing one of 4 things. And usually it's one of 3 things because you can't repeat an action that you just did. And so, if you're bartering, you're getting cards from the market and putting them in your wagon. If you're discovering, you're moving your wagon around the board. And the villager tiles that are out on there on the explore board, they rotate around and they're different every game. So you pick 3 out of 12 or 6 out of 12 every game. And so those rotate in and out, and they also flow in and out through the game. You are one that I think the coolest mechanism is the harvest action, where you're rolling 3 dice. You take the sum of 2 of those dice, and that determines which of the 3 resource tracks you get to move up.
Mm-hmm.
And those tracks all have different ability or different bonuses and stuff as you go up them. And then the 3rd die that you didn't select in that harvest action, that determines how many resources of that track's color you get. Yeah. And so that's really cool. I've never seen that in a game where you're rolling 3, choosing 2, and then the other one does something neat. And then the last one is you're repairing relics. Like Michelle said, you're upgrading those 4 actions. So when you trigger one, you go down your wagon and you get bonuses if you've built up to it. And the cards, though, the relics are also dual purpose. So you can tuck them under your board when you repair them as an upgrade, or you could sell it. They all have a reward in the middle that's really powerful one-time use, or are you going to upgrade it to get that repeating bonus under an action?
Yeah, and things that you might end up buying could be caravan upgrades, which is for at the beginning of the game, how you're basically a caravan merchant, so you could upgrade it so that you get more bonuses as you take each action. And then there were also objective rewards, objectives.
There's global objectives for everybody, and there's also little private objective cards. Yeah.
So some of those let you earn more of those, which could then turn to more reputation points at the end. One major thing we have not mentioned is the influence tokens.
Yeah.
And so you have 15 at the start of the game, and you're trying to get rid of them, and you're trying to get your influence out on the board. And they could be on the explore section. That's pretty typical. That's the most. I feel like that was where most of our influence tokens went. However, they can end up on your relics too. There are certain relics where you earn a certain amount of resources and then you can place an influence. So that was another part. And then I think the other way to place influence tokens was to complete those objectives. Then you would get to lay them down then too.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think reaching the end of the tracks, the 3 tracks that we talked about, that's how you get influence as well. Another thing about those little influence tokens, they start on your board and they're blocking spaces where you store your resources. And so as you're getting rid of influence, you're actually opening up your storage space so you have more places to hold those. Yeah.
And you want to accumulate more and more resources as you go. That's even part of the overall objectives, is trying to obtain a greater amount of resources as the game goes on.
Yeah, because when you're usually spending those resources to repair relics, which, like we talked about, those cards, you can repair as many as you want with that repair action, or you might not have the storage to accumulate all those resources, and so there's so many different avenues to go down in this game too. Mm-hmm. Like there's cards that let you discard cards for bonuses. There's cards that let you put influence on them, like Michelle was talking about. There's cards that let you just spend resources, or there's and I think they're all color coded too, so that each color does a certain different aspect. But yeah, those are our impressions of Everstone, Discovering Ignis. So check it out on Kickstarter.
We liked it. It looks really nice. It's a pretty game. The colors are great. The cards are really easy to read. I think I talked about this in our podcast episode over this one too, but sometimes in games I feel like cards can be a little clunky, or you're not really sure like what goes with what. These were really, really great. Easy to see where everything fell and what it meant.
Yeah, and super quick gameplay as well. We played a game in I think 45 minutes the other night, and it was great.
Mm-hmm. The second time we played through, so it's not crazy long. Still a lot of complexity. It does say 30 minutes per player, so yeah.
So check out Everstone. But until next time, I'm Zach,
and I'm Michelle,
and this has been A Couple Games.